All right. Hello, world. Today, my guest is Axel, aka the Unborn Child. Axel started his career 8 years ago as a DJ and melodic techno producer in Buenos Aires, Argentina, transitioning later into releasing on labels such as Illegal Alien Records, Animal Farm, Hate, Ōtomo Trax, and the list goes on and on forever. His music style is characterized by a combination of percussive tribal rhythms, drones, and sound effects and atmospheres inherited from sci-fi cinema. He is looking to expand his limits and branch out of the mainstream by creating a new genre described by him as cinematic techno. In this conversation with the unborn child, we cover topics such as his main influences, how he got into music, different styles he approaches, equality in the scene, what the pandemic has been like for the underground, and much, much more. So grab your seats and buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because this podcast will knock your socks off. Please welcome the unborn child. Underground Soul, gnarliest podcast in the world, and today we've got the unborn child on the show. How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, Julian? How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Just another day in the lockdown. Another day in Berlin. Groomy Berlin. You know what it is. How's it going in Barcelona?
Well, here too, mate. I have here a very cloudy day. It's very cold today, but I guess that they are the last days with this weather because, well, the summer is coming, and here having the beach and enjoying a little bit the city. It's very nice, bro.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you grabbing the time to do this and coming in, having this conversation. So, for people out there who don't really know who you are, could you give me a little bit of a background on yourself?
Yes, sure, mate. First of all, thanks to you for inviting me. It's a pleasure, as always, to do something for you. Yes, sure. Well, let's start a little bit with who I am. I am Maxel. I'm 27 years old now. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Now I'm living in Barcelona since 2 years ago, more or less. Well, I started to produce music like 10 years ago, but it was very relaxed because I started to make music for real like 5 or 4 years ago. But I started on another kind of music because I started to produce more deep house, melodic techno, like I don't know, I can tell you Tale of Us or Mind Against, this kind of melodic techno. And 2 years ago, I guess, I discovered a little bit more hard techno or industrial techno, and I fall in love with it. I discovered, I can remember, hypnotic techno set from Oscar Mulero,
Hmm.
and it blew my mind. And well, since that day, I start to dig more into techno and Berlin techno. Um, so I fall in love with it, and well, uh, now there's more than 1 year that I started with my own project, the Unborn Child, because as I told you, when I produced melodic techno, I was making music with a friend of me. His name is Juan Pidakila, and it's a very good friend of me, and we did made a duo that it was Antiques. Um, I have some stuff there on SoundCloud. It's still alive. The SoundCloud, it's Antiques Music. Well, I love that project, but then we took different roads, and we made hard techno, but individually. And well, that's a little of who I am and what I'm doing now.
Right, right.
I made a lot of classes. I gave a lot of classes, so it helped me a lot to listen to myself to know specific things better, to explain them. And I had a lot of work during the pandemic of design and that stuff, because all the stores and everything went digital.
Right.
I was working a lot with design, and that helped me a lot to make my profiles and everything look better too. So I guess that the best part to being inspired by something, it's to being moving, to don't be there waiting for things. You have to make something every day, something new. I don't know, if you like art, you have to be. Nowadays we have internet. That it's a big tool, or a bad tool too, if you don't know how to use it, because you can have a lot of inspiration there. But if you use it on the bad way to just look stupid things, you maybe don't have inspiration for there, but from there. But I guess that internet too helped me a lot to know new producers, know new things of making music, new ways, and yeah, that was the most important thing to get inspired.
Right. Right. Okay. So you mentioned that you're a graphic designer and
Yeah,
artistic director and so forth. So can you tell me a little bit about, the importance of social media with artists and
yeah,
with collectives and things of that nature?
yeah. Um, I guess that you have it's important, but it's not essential, because there are a lot of artists that don't have a social media, and they only put music on vinyls, and on records, and they have a good career too. So for me, it's important because I know how to make something look good. So if I have that tool, I have to use it. But I don't want to say that it's essential, because if you're making music is the most important thing. You can be a good artist, but I'm saying that it's not important how it looks, but yes, it's important how you sell yourself,
Right.
because you can have a good material, but if it's under your sofa, nobody will see it, and it will be just for you. So it's important to show you on the best way possible that you have. um, Maybe you have I don't know, two records, okay? You have one that it's totally white, and when you have the other one with a beautiful design. I'm
Right.
pretty sure that you will listen first to the record that have a beautiful and a pretty design, so
Mhm.
uh, I guess that it's very important how you manage today the most important tool that we have to show ourselves, that it's the social media. I don't know, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Resident Advisor, Beatport.
Right.
We have a lot of ways to show an artist, but um, I guess that it's not essential, but it will help you a lot for sure. If you have a good profile, if you have a good image, if you have concept,
Right.
because you can sell an image, but it's important to have a concept. If it's more important that look good, and a concept have like a storytelling, like a good image, a good music. You have things that you do and things that you shouldn't do, to don't go outside that road.
Right.
Um, it's what I think, bro, about social media.
Right. Yeah, no, no, that's definitely true in my view. What you're talking about, like for instance, the cover art, what you mentioned. In my case, at least, it's totally true. Like I'll tend to listen to a record that has a cool cover art before listening to one that doesn't have a cool cover art, or something that I don't know you've just seen 5,000 times, just because I think you link the quality of the maybe the cover art to maybe the quality of the music, which isn't
Yeah,
necessarily like that, but due to the fact that so many, people have so many resources nowadays, and people have so
yeah,
many, so much management, and so many things like graphic design and stuff like that are accessible to everyone, right now on the internet. It's logical, to make that connection. But also I totally agree, like there are people like I can think of Helena Hauff. You know her?
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, for sure.
she's
Yeah.
she doesn't have an Instagram, for
Well,
instance.
she is the perfect example of what I told you, that it's not essential. You can be a very recognized, maybe a thousand times more than someone that take cares of their social media, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really legends that I don't know if you know Prince of Denmark.
No, I don't.
Well,
Prince
I
of
will
Denmark.
send you then a link
Right.
of him. Nobody knows his face. Nobody knows anything about it. Him, and he made a music, an awesome music, bro.
Right.
So it's not important, but it helps. It maybe could help you. I don't know if Elena have maybe had an Instagram. I don't know if maybe she will be more recognized or not. You know, maybe that's easy. It's she.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe that's what makes her interesting to some people,
Yeah,
that she doesn't
yeah,
have an
yeah.
Instagram, and she's got like
That's
that.
it.
She's kind of mysterious, and you don't know about her life,
You have
that
to catch her playing. You know, it's
exactly,
not.
exactly.
You don't have a flyer or something like that. So
That's
it
right.
makes it more interesting, I guess.
That's right. That's right. And then you've got, other artists, like, for instance, I'm thinking about SNTS or Vendex, who look
Yeah.
quite similar. That have a whole concept, around
Wow.
their,
Yeah. Bendex is a big friend of me.
right.
He's crazy. He's a great, very, very, very great guy. That
Yeah.
yeah. And yes, he have when he tells you the story behind him, you
Yeah.
it's like wow, you have a big concept, you know, about it, and he have everything planned, like perfect, everything. I know how it says. Um, fits, you know, in his
Yeah.
story and his image, and how he talks, you know, he have a very particular way to talk to the audience, to the people
Right.
who follow him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No.
yes, yes, you can have a lot of ways to be an artist, but at the end, if you're making music, I guess that's the 90% of everything, you know. You can have the way that you want, but if you make good music, it will sound good. So that's important.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it would also, be the case, I think, with Vendex, if the music wasn't there, he wouldn't, be an pretty up and coming, underground artist.
Yeah,
But also, I think, in his case, the image and the concept, behind the music and the artist also helps a lot, because it's, in my view, at least, I've also interviewed Vendex, and I also talked to him on the regular, basically. But exactly, like that mystery element, like Helena Hoff has, through maybe not having social media, maybe people like SNTS or Vendex have, by not showing their faces or having like this crazy concept, for their
yeah,
for their artistry, right. All right, so moving on. So I know we all already talked about, the Argentinian techno scene a little bit and stuff like that, but could you
Yeah.
tell me, some up and coming artists coming out from Argentina, and what's the Argentinian sound like? Because, if you ask me what's the sound, what's the French sound like at the moment, I'd say, possession techno, this neo rave wave, Viper, Diva, Shlomo, Adon,
Yeah.
all that, in Spain, you'd say Pole group and stuff like that, just like it's a very Oscar Mulero, influenced school, so to speak.
Okay.
So what would you say, was the is the main sound, coming out of Argentina at the moment?
Okay. I guess that in Argentina now, it's a very big influence of Detroit techno. This kind of loop, hypnotic music. Um, there are big artists now upcoming like Farcel, um, Micha Lauriola. Let me think about artists that I like. There's a guy that I like what he does. What he does, it's Rotten. It's his name. Um, then you have another one. It's Cold Pose. No, there are a lot of names, bro, that are upcoming. There's a good techno now. Then let me think another names. You catch me by surprise. I had a lot of names in my head now, but
You've got to
well,
send me those.
yes, I will write it on comments to the people. Then can have a listen to them.
100%. Right. But like, what's the, is that I'm like super bad at, describing a certain sound, you know what I'm saying? Like if you
Okay,
told me, that's why, for instance, when we released your podcast, I was like, could you give me a description, of how you describe, your music and stuff like that? So could you give me, like what do they what's the sound coming out? More like a ravey sound, or more like a deep, a housey sound, or stuff like that.
okay. In Argentina, I guess that the new generation of DJs in Argentina, like 20 years old, something like this, are more in digging in the ravey sound, like the French sound of Shlomo, Hadon, and this kind of DJs. But the old school are more on the style of Paul group. Yeah,
Right,
you have a very big
right,
difference there between ages.
right,
The youngest people are more in French sound, and then you have the old school DJs are more in the into Germany style.
right. Right, yeah, no, that's interesting that you say that, because I actually interviewed this producer called Charlton a while back. He's actually a mate of mine. He's from Rotterdam, but he's like 40 or something like that. He's old, and he hates, this neo rave sound and stuff like that, because he's always like, it's already been done. You know what I'm saying? Like
Do
this.
you like it?
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
But I like all kinds of music. You know what I'm saying? I like
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
all parts of the spectrum. In techno. And to me, there's like bad neo rave music, good neo rave music, bad, Norback or
Yeah,
Oscar
you
Mulero
have
stuff.
everything in each part of techno. You have bad and good music in
Right.
music in general.
Right, exactly.
uh,
So this guy, Charlton, he's like, yeah, no, he hates it, because I understand it, because he's like, well, this has already been done, like in the 90s, this music is already invented. So this new, he said, like music, this new rave revival, this neo rave revival. Like to him, it's like, like I already know that shit. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I can also understand, like, for people that weren't, growing up in the '90s. Like, for instance, me, like I was born in the '90s, obviously, but I wasn't
Yes.
going to clubs in the '90s and shit.
Yeah.
So for people like me, or even
It's
younger
new. Yeah.
people, it's like new shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, to
Yeah.
me, it is something new, and it is something that is appealing to me up to a certain. Like Vendex, for instance, he does that
Yeah.
kind of music, or
Yeah.
CLTX, or those kinds of people. Right, but yeah, I think it's like this old school new school mentality. But what's it like with you? Because I was gonna tell you, some of your tracks remind me a lot of Oscar Mulero style and stuff like that. Kind of similar to Boom, but also I have also listened to a little bit more industrial and ravey stuff by you. So how would you describe your sound?
Yes. First of all, I'm not agree in the that I don't that I like this new way of music, ravey music too. I don't prefer it, but I guess that we're constantly taking things from past and put it on the present. It's a normal from the human, to do that. We do it with clothes. I don't know. We used clothes from the 90s, from the 70s. Every decade, I guess that we're using something from the decades past. You know.
Right, right,
It's good to make a new version of it because it's not the same music. We have new technology. We are on another. We're on 2020 now. It passed like 30 years, so I'm sure that we have a better version of it because if we don't do it now, when? And maybe something new have to be with that past, and if anybody do it, it won't happen. So for me it's good to revive that vibes and try to see what's new happened, and to have new sounds, to have more diversity in music. If not, we will be all the fucking life like with techno, 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 and we have to have a new trance, a new techno, a new hip hop, a mix between trance and hip hop. I don't know. You can have a lot of music, and maybe you can take something from the past and try to mix it with future and have something new, like it's happening now with French techno. So
right.
if you listen to a track from 90s and you listen the mix and mastering of a track of I don't know, Viper Diva, you can't compare them. It's like a new kind of mix because it sounds ravey, it sounds like a mix with trance, but you have the techno feel, that the new school techno feel. So for me it's important to mix it.
Right.
um, then, can you repeat me the last part of the question because I lost it?
Um, what was it? Basically, like, if you if what do you think about these revivals, which you basically already answered, but yeah, I don't even remember.
I remember how I feel it with my style or
Oh yeah,
something like
right,
that.
right, right, right. So how would
Yeah,
you describe your sound? Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
yeah, yeah. um, well, to describe my sound, bro, it's difficult because, as I told you, I'm working on it like for 2 years now, and I didn't feel that I reached the perfect point of my sound. Like everything on art, you always feel that you have something more to do. A little step more to do. So I feel like I am trying to go on with this. I want to make possible to be on Beatport, the genre cinematic techno. I want to
Right.
mix all these kind of cinematic trailers, sounds, special effects, and orchestral stuff with SMTS have this kind of tribal cinematic sound,
Hmm.
um, I want to make it a genre, and I think that my sound it's very hard or industrial tribal percussions mixed with some melodic orchestral instruments like cello, I don't know, pianos, violins to make the melodic atmospheres. And then I use a lot of organic records. I use a record from the subway. I use a record from I don't know, from the kitchen when it's running, and then I put them on music to make something organic, and I try to make tracks that I don't. I'm not influenced by Detroit techno. That's a very loopy music. I'm trying to have a track of I don't know 6, 5, 7 minutes that it's completely different when you're jumping between the track. You will always listen a different track on it because
Right.
I try to make organic stuff on to don't make this loopy music.
Right. Right. Understood. Um, yeah, well, that's interesting that you mentioned that because, well, the other day I was, I guess it depends on the kind of music you produce, right? But the other day I was looking at this masterclass preview by Hex Academy,
Yeah,
and it was Joton, Joton,
yeah, sure.
doing the masterclass, and he was saying that he was basically saying like get 2 minutes right of the song because no one's gonna play your song at Fabric Club or any kind of club for more than 2 minutes. Get the 2 minutes right, and that's it. And I guess it depends a lot, on the kind of music that you're doing. The thing is, Rodon kind of music he does is it's super simple, super repetitive, and it's that
Yeah,
kind of music, same as you know Kessel and Plate or those kind of people.
yeah,
Uh, but if you grab you know, Hector Oaks or VTSS or SPF DJ, kind of track or Vendex, those kind of people, you can't make it, you can't have only 2 minutes. It's what you said, like
yeah.
basically depending on where
You
you
have yeah, sure. I
different
got
kinds
you.
of songs. Right. Right. Okay, so you mentioned also cinematic techno. So would you care to explain, a little bit about, this new genre that you're trying to push?
Okay. It's like when you are I don't know watching a movie and you you hear all the sound effects and maybe it's like um, hearing a movie with your eyes closed and make that with techno, make a groovy industrial tribal percussion first, and then to mix it with all the sounds that you hear on the trailer of a cinema movie or maybe on a scene of a movie in a part of a movie. So that was because that was the part that I told you that it was very difficult to me to mix them because they are two different worlds, techno music and all the environment of the cinematic music. I always like to close my eyes when I'm making music and imagine which part of the movie it's, I always make an EP or an album or whatever. Album not, because I'm gonna release the first one at the end of the year. But when I make an EP or something, I start putting the name of it. I'm not making music just for making music. I start making the title of the EP, so that brings me the theme that I want to go, because it's like writing a book and don't know the title. You don't know what are you writing
Right.
about, and it's important to me to imagine what I will have to make the song, but I have to think first what about the song will be. That was the most important thing that I find in this kind of cinematic techno, that gives me the opportunity of think what I want to communicate, what I want to happen in you when you're listening to the song if you close your eyes. I want to make it to transport you to some special part of
Yep.
a movie, if we call an EP a movie.
Right.
I think the an EP as a movie, and then I have the different part of a movie. You have the intro. I have a technique that I use, because it's very hard to me when I want to make an intro, for an EP, or I want to make a cinematic music just without a kick. It's more like a breakbeat or an intro. So it's difficult to me to release an EP of that kind of trailers. But I always use the technique that I send an EP with 3 or 4 or 5 tracks, but on the EP I always put an intro of what I want to do. So that's my technique to put music that I want and fits with music that I'm sure that the label will take. So I'm making a mix between what the label wants and what I want to do.
Right.
It's my technique to put my music in.
Right. All right. So, we're talking about cinematic techno, right? So, what are the samples that you've used, or which movie soundtracks have you sampled until now?
Well, I use a lot of synthesis to make sounds. I'm not using a lot of um, samples, but um, I used to, when I am looking to a movie, or when I'm looking to some video. It's not always from a movie. Maybe it's from a video game too, because I don't know if you know the game Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Yep. Sure.
Well, I used that game to some parts that have a very good instrumental parts. I took them from there and I sampled it. So maybe it's not always from movies. Maybe it's from a video. I have a track that the name is Crying Angels. It's a track released on Vector Functions, that it have a chorus of angels, and these chorus of angels, they are real, a video that I saw on YouTube. And they, there was 4 guys singing on a church in Russia.
Right.
So I try to, and well, of course, then I have a lot of effects on it.
Mhm.
Reverb, delays, filters. I don't know, a lot of stuff to make it sound good. But maybe, as you told me a few minutes ago, Blade, the movie Blade, the Vampire Hunter, was very, when it was a little guy and I saw that movie, it was like mind blowing when he enters into the club, and all the vampires are dancing with the shower of blood. Um, and they're listening to techno music, and it was what the fuck, to see that when I was a little guy. So
Right.
I guess that the soundtracks that I have on Matrix on Blade, they are amazing. They can be very inspirational to techno music. So um, I met on internet a guy that I don't know if you know him, Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
Hans Zimmer? Is he
Hans
German?
Zimmer. Uh, yeah, yeah. If Let me see,
He actually
he is
rings a
from
bell, but I'm not sure.
he is from yeah, he's from German. He's a composer of music for cinema and video games. He composed Pirates of Caribbean and Batman and a lot of
Oh,
very
wow.
very very famous
Right.
movies. I recommend you to take a listen to him because he have
Right.
very interesting material on YouTube too. He have a
Right.
concert that it's fucking amazing.
Yep.
It makes me have goosebumps.
Right. Right.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, bro. He have a I don't know. Do you know when you see someone that born for something?
Yeah.
Well, it's that the case, bro. It's
Right.
amazing. It's
Right.
amazing what he
Right.
does, what how he sounds. So I feel a lot of inspiration about his movies, because it's not the feel that I want to create, but mix it with techno music. Um, I used some samples too from the Predator, the movie of the beast, this beast
All
with
right.
the two tooth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Alien too have a very good music. I guess that the cinema from the '90s have a very good work with cinematic sound.
Right. Right. Yeah, 100%. Like as we were talking about before, yeah, it's like for me it was the Matrix, but then the typical I don't even know what it's called anymore, but that Blade soundtrack, fucking crazy. Like you could put that in a rave and it'd just be,
Yeah, yeah,
everyone
and
would
the
go
people will
crazy.
get mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, bro. Right. So I also found quite interesting, your concept behind or rather your artistic approach towards creating a project, which is giving it a concept first and stuff like that, because I've heard from some producers that it's like kind of difficult for them to stay on track with a certain style, you know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
guess in your case it totally makes sense, to have this concept first, and then to orient all of those tracks that you're producing towards this road, what I'm saying.
yeah. It was a friend of me that helped me with that because like, yeah, 2 years ago, I was making a track and I felt very lost. Where like, oh, I don't know how to continue. I don't know where to go with the track, and I was very lost. And he saw that on the title of the track was a name.
Mm.
I didn't put a name, and he stopped me and asked to me, why are you making a track without putting a name first? And he told me this that I told you, that how you can write a book without knowing the title of it, of
Right.
what you are going to write about it. So I found it very helpful for me because I started to work this way, and I know how to start a track, I know how to continue, I know how to finish a track. I know when I finish a track, if the track uh, fits with the name, because if I close my eyes and I have my track finished and it don't fit with the title, something went wrong on the development of the track.
Right. Yeah, yeah, totally get you, man. So, this leads me to my next question, which would be, uh, like, what's your most important project, or the one that you like the most, if you have one, and why? What was the concept behind it?
About my project.
Yeah, like, what's your favorite project, basically, that you made?
Okay, my favorite project. Um, it's what I'm doing now.
Right.
It's where I'm working now. That
Yeah.
it's my first album. That it will have 11 tracks. And I'm writing like each chapter. Um, chapter one, chapter two, up to 11. And because I feel that it's the first time during my career that I I am agree with the results. I'm happy about it. I listen to it and I say, yes, this is a fucking cinematic techno that I was working for these 2 years, and it was so hard to get it.
Right.
And now I listen to it, and then I will send you the tracks to take a listen.
Right.
Um, it's like for the first time I feel comfortable with it. I feel like I got this, that
Yep.
I reach it. So but from the past, from something that I made, let me think. I guess that the one of the piece that I most like is one that I released on Ōtomo
Right.
Trax from Netherlands.
Right.
Yeah, uh, there's an intro on that track, on that EP. Sorry, it's a 3-track EP. The intro, the track is it's not wanted. The track, and it's a cinematic intro of it's a story of a baby that was abandoned. I don't know if it will say. And you have the all the story when you close your eyes, then take a listen to it with your eye closed. And it's the story when they left him alone, and he's on a very rainy day. I record some storm there, and I put him on the track. Um, it's like a completely madness the track, but for me it's the best that he did. uh,
Right.
and it's on Ōtomo Trax from Netherlands. Yeah.
Right. That project CL Right. No, CL. Yeah, double I. Right.
Yeah,
So what does that
that one.
stand for? What does that stand for?
The name,
Yeah.
uh, the name, it's the name that the label put it because it have a different combination of letters.
Right. So the
Uh,
label came up with the name.
the label came with the name. All the EPs have that kind of names.
Oh,
But
right.
the name of the EP, it's not wanted. It's the first track name. I always use
Right.
because labels sometimes want to put any kind of title. So I always put the first track of the EP, the name of the EP.
Not wanted.
Yeah,
Right.
not wanted.
Right. So okay. Can you explain this about the label naming the project like CLII? What do you mean? Like they've got previous projects that they've named CLI or something like that.
Yes. Let me see, bro, because I don't really know why the fuck have it named, but I'm sure that, well, now they changed. I'm take a look, and they changed how the name
Right,
they
right,
named
right.
the EPs.
Yeah,
But
no, it's Roman numerals. Right.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
But before them, yes. But now they
Yeah.
don't.
Oh, now they don't. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's the this last one. Oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. It's not the last one. Yeah, no, no, yeah, but most of the track, yeah, it's basically Roman numerals. Okay. All right, interesting that they do that and that they don't let you name your own track, but whatever. So I wanted to ask you because you've released on five different labels in 2 years or under 2 years. So first of all, how have you approached these labels? Because you've got pretty good labels like Animal Farm. And if you've had any problems with any labels, releasing your music, because I know from other artists where sometimes labels have listened to their project and they were like, well, we'd like you to change this or that. And then I've heard other people that haven't had that problem at all. Have you had any problems with labels?
Yeah. Well, bro, it's very hard when you are making music to know if you're making something good or not, because you have to know who to ask if your music is good or not. Because maybe, now talking about music, but it's with everything the same. It's very important to know how to ask if you're doing something good or not. Maybe if you ask to a friend that don't like techno music or something, and he listen to it and he say no, this is a shit. Or maybe you have a friend that he loves you and he tell, oh, this is a bomb, and maybe uh, that are not the best answers for you to grow up. So it's very
Right.
important to have someone that you can have a very uh, I don't know how it says.
Yeah, like honest opinion and
Yeah, an
good
honest
feedback.
opinion. Yeah, to you for growing up. Um, it's difficult when you're starting to make music to know when you're ready and what will be your first EP, because nowadays we have internet that it's a it's a good tool, and maybe it's not if you don't make the first steps properly, and you are not releasing good music because you're immortal there. You can't
Right.
delete what a label uploads. So if you're uploading music to your SoundCloud, you have the control of it. But if you gave music to a label, you can't send them a message, hey, I want to delete my EP. No, you're there, bro, and you will be immortal. I know for how many years.
Yeah.
So and you will be on the computer of someone, and that will be on pirate programs downloading, and maybe you will never know in how many computers you are. But it's important to, when you are feel that you're ready to send music and you like your material and you like how it sounds, because it's very difficult, because you have a long trip between you're making music, you make something good, but the most difficult part is to sound good, to the quality of the sound that you're making, your mix sound and your mastering. So you have, I guess that you have two different big parts on your track, that is the production of it and the mixing and mastering of the track. So I guess that you are always training your creativity and your workflow, but at the same time you are improving how well you sound.
Right.
So when you feel that you have a very nice and fresh and creative track and it sounds good, it's time to send it. But first of all, when you don't have something did on the past, and it's your first track and you don't know how to contact the label, and you don't have a friend, a DJ that can tell you how to do it, it's very difficult. That was my particular case, because I didn't know how to send music, how to contact anyone. And I guess that the most important thing here, bro, it's that we are humans. more than artists. We're persons that all that we wake up each day, that we have breakfast, that go to shit, that that we do
100%. Real
everything.
shit.
Yeah. So it's important to know who you are talking to, because we feel them like monsters, when you are a rookie, when you don't have experience, because you have fear to contact them, because more in techno, I guess, because we sell this image that we are like dark people, like we are like just an artist, and we don't mix it with personal life. But
Mhm.
then when you meet these people, like Vendex, for example,
Yep.
I met a guy that is a very big friend of me now.
Yep.
His mask don't show how he is,
Yep.
and it's like that with everything. And well, I started to send music to people that first I met them by talking by Instagram or Facebook. These are good tools now to approach to people. First, tell them who you are, what are you doing, why are you sending music to them? Because I guess if you have a label, it's important to know why this guy is contacting me. It's not just send music without the title, without
Yeah.
saying anything, take it or leave it. It's not
Right.
like that. It's more like, hey, I am Axel. I like your label because I guess that it fits with the sound. I guess I like the work that you're doing, because sometimes we have some aspirational labels that fits with you, with the image, with the concept, with the music, with everything. And I guess that it's important to let know these people that they make something inspirational for you, that maybe helps you to make music, to want to be there.
Right.
um,
Right.
it's good to have people doing the same as you, and have a lot of things in common, and they are living in the other side of the world.
Yep.
So it's very important to contact them and told him, why are you there, why are you sending music? And then you have to wait. It's like everything. Maybe the music that you are hearing nowadays, it's music from a year ago, that someone released a year ago, and you have a long wait to release them.
Right.
So on biggest labels, you have to wait minimum 3 months to, I don't know, a year maybe, to release it. So you're always releasing old music.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So well, for the case of Animal Farm, I take a chat first with the owner for Darren Quail. It's a very good person, very good guy too. Uh, because I talked to him, because I told him my admiration for the label, because in that label were released music artists that I love, like Setao Mas, and it was like a dream for me releasing music there. And I when I didn't release music there, it was like something that you see that it's too far away. So I make an EP thinking about that label, and first I have a chat with him. We share some things about us. That's the part that I told you, that it's important to know who are you talking to,
Right. Yeah.
and to share a moment, and to know a little about him, and him a little about you. That's my way to think. I have partners of music that don't give a fuck about this, that maybe they don't care about the other people, and they just wanna release music. But I'm a little bit more human, I guess. So it's important to know who are you talking about, what you can um, change with him,
Right. Right.
to have a feedback,
Right.
and then I sent him the EDB. I guess I sent him a 6 track EP, yeah. And he told me, "Hey, I want these three tracks." And when he told me that, bro, I was jumping on the house, screaming like "Wah!" I was very happy about it, but it's all about time, bro. It's about time, and the don't be an anxious person and send things fast and think about it and meditate if you're doing the right things, if you are being a there's a lot of good artists, bro, but there's i I guess that it could be a lot of good person too,
Yep.
and mix those parts of music and being a good person and grow up as a person. It's very important, such as growing up in music too.
100%. No, totally agree with you. It's basically a little bit like, a job application where you're not, just sending out, 500 CVs to any
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of firm. You're like writing your motivation, why you want to work with them or want to work with that firm. And it's also, something that it's fucked up that people do, because if you're just sending out, as I said, like 500, let's see who answers, it's also fucked up for labels, because they're like, well, what's your interest, why do you want me to release your tracks on my label, and so forth. So totally. I was actually going to ask you what tips you would give, a young producer that hasn't released a lot. How he or she should approach a label. That's a
Okay.
pretty good one. What else would you say?
Well, first of all, I guess if you are new on the scene, you want to release music, um, the most important thing for me is what I told you is to be a good person in all aspects in your life. Um, second, I guess that it's important to have something that sounds good to compare. I not comparing styles because I'm a guy that I don't feel that I'm uh, influenced by a lot of artists because I guess if you are influenced by a much artist, you are missing the part of doing your own stuff, because you are always trying to do what he does and or what that artist does, and you're not paying attention to do what you have to bring new to the scene, because
Yep.
for do what Oscar Mueller is doing, there's a lot of artists doing that, and you won't
100%.
be new on that, so it's very important for me to be influenced but don't take care a lot of that, I guess that it's important to compare the quality of things, to sound good, to have a good image, to have a good product. And so comparing in terms of quality, I'm 100% sure that it's very important, but not comparing styles, because maybe you are trying to do something and you have something else to show that what you are trying to copy from somewhere else. So I guess it's not important to copy or to be influenced. Yes, in being better in some quality on or the final product. That's the second one. I guess that it's important to have a well presentation of you. I don't know if I won't write 30 lines of a message, because if it's too too large the message, it's very difficult a label owner that have, I don't know, 100 mails per day, to put and read everything. It's you have to make a short message, I don't know, 5 6 lines, telling who you are, where you came from, why did you contact the label,
Mhm.
why do you are interested in label and put your music in,
Yep.
and then show your music. It's the last part of the message. Show your music.
Right.
First, you have to say who you are, why are you writing, and then you have to show your message. Because sometimes when I receive some promos of that stuff to put on podcast, some people send it like, I don't know who the fuck they are, because they don't have the email with the name of the artist, and saying, here are the tracks, boom, 5 tracks that I know who he is because he put the name on the track. But hey, bro, send me a hi, how are you? Let me know something about your music, or
Right. There's people sending you music for you to play them on podcasts and stuff like that.
hmm. Yes, and I can't imagine what a label could receive.
You know, that's crazy.
Well, and I think as the third part, most important to sending some demos to label, it's to being accepted. That don't being anxious about getting an answer, because they took a lot of time to have an answer. Maybe you send something, and 2 or 3 months later you have an answer, and maybe you thought that that label don't want your music, and you send it to another label, and then you have a problem because the first label that you send music accept your music, and then you send your music to another label, and then you will have a bad image, with one of them. You will have
Right.
to choose which label. And in that case, when it happened to me, for being uh, realistic, I choose the first one that I sent, because it's for respect, that if I send you this first and you accept it, it's yours.
Right.
But it's not good to send it to two different labels at the same time. So it's very important to be patient. And it's important, one tip that a label owner, that his name is Fixon, he's a very good artist too, from Mexico. He told me that it's important to send the SoundCloud links on private, and they don't have to have listens. You know,
All right.
when you have the counter at the right that
Right.
says how much people listen to it, it's important to have it in serial. Because if not, you are sending something and you are not bringing to the label the exclusivity of having your music.
Yep.
So it's important to have it without numbers.
Right.
Um, well, that's the what I can recommend to someone that's
Yep. You know,
introducing into music.
you know, 100%. I actually hadn't thought about that at all. Actually, I didn't even know people, sent labels through private SoundCloud links, but totally makes sense. And if you've got, like 50 plays on that link, just kind of as you
Yeah,
said, you basically like getting the exclusivity away from it.
yeah, and maybe some labels. It happened to me. I don't want to say who, but uh, told me when they accept the music, I don't want to listen this on a podcast or nothing. I want to be exclusive released on my label and didn't been played um, before
Ever.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever.
So sometimes it's important to you to have that value for your tracks. To maybe if you are making to someone listen to your music, try to as I told you before, it's like try to to be that special person to you, you know. No, not to everyone. We don't need the word of everyone, you know,
Right.
because maybe sometimes you get confused about someone that don't really helps to your career or don't really understand what you're doing, because you know it's difficult to, because maybe people like what you do but they don't understand what you do. There are two different things, and maybe we think that that person understands what you're doing and maybe not, and they are not helping you, and maybe you'll get confused or you think that something is bad, or I don't know, a lot of things, bro. So I guess that's the fourth point, you know, to know how you listen, how you send your things before you send it to a label, you know, to have a good feedback.
Right, right, right. Totally understand. Well, yeah, thanks for those tips, man. I think they're quite valuable. So, moving on, I'd like to ask you, since you live in Barcelona, what's the Barcelona techno scene like? We talked about the Argentinian or Buenos Aires scene. We did talk a little bit about Spanish music and stuff, and about these kind of two main waves, like this ravey wave and this, Oscar Mulero or whatever
Yeah,
wave. So I see, people like Poli, Lorenzo
yeah,
Ragazzini,
from X.
Vendex,
Yeah.
exactly. They're basically, I'd say, the biggest label coming out of Barcelona in that genre. So what's your take on them? How do they compare to other artists like Vendex, or other artists coming out of Barcelona?
Um, well, first of all, when I arrived to Barcelona, it was like impossible to me to think how to fit here, because it took a lot of time to fit in my country. So when I arrived here with no contacts, without knowing nobody, we don't have friends, just with my girlfriend, you know, it was too difficult for me to think how to fit here on the scene. When I arrived here, the first thing that I saw, it was X. You know, it was without the coronavirus and all the stuff, where they were doing a lot of parties. And then I contact the visual artist, Acid Thermal, that it's the visual artist from them, and I have a very good relationship with him, and he showed me a little bit how everything works, you know, on the night scene here in Barcelona. But I had the luck of met Flug Sebastian Lopez. I don't know if you know him. He's a he's an Argentinian producer that's living here. He released a lot of music in a lot of labels. He's very good person, an artist, and father too. I met him and he helped me a lot with here in the scene of Barcelona, because he was managing um, the party on Resonance Razmataz, and he gave me the opportunity to play twice there. Well, then it came the virus like 2 months later. But if not were for him, I I saw that opportunity very far away. You know, because when I talk with people from here, told me, hey, how the fuck you in 3 months of came here to Barcelona, play in that club that I want to play there for all my life. And it's the same when an artist from outside goes to your country, you know. From the locals, it's most difficult
Yeah.
to do things in your country that from people from who comes from outside. I don't know why is that like that. And you have to be good outside to be recognized in your country. it's a very like strange thing that we have, but we accept it like that. um, so now when I went to Argentina like 1 month ago, I have a lot of offers to play, and when I was there I didn't have them.
Right.
And it didn't change a lot in these 2 years, but you're the guy that's living outside now.
Yep.
uh, well, going back to Hex and everything. Then I think that now the scene it's going more to the right of going to the side of the French sound, I guess, more ravey, more industrial, but in the world, I guess it's not something from just from Barcelona um, or whatever you are. It's like it's a new wave, it's a new trend, it's a new kind of music. It's new. What it's new, it's what everyone wants. So it's fresh, and it deserves really to have the place that it have now, because it's something new, and maybe some years later it's not new anymore, and maybe we take music from the 2000 again, and we bring it and we mix it with new stuff and taking new quality on it, and you have new music. So um, and the scene here, I guess that there are just a few parties of techno. There's not a lot of parties that you can have, or clubs that gives you the opportunity to hear techno. So maybe it makes me think like Barcelona have something in common with Buenos Aires, because it's a very cosmopolitan city, and you have a lot of influences from all the countries here. I'm tired of listening reggaeton everywhere too, like in Buenos Aires. It's so I find it very similar to Buenos Aires here, the culture. I didn't met Berlin because I came here to Europe, and well, the virus did his things.
Yep.
And I want to meet another cultures too, because here I'm speaking Spanish. I'm having a similar culture, having similar people, similar ways to live. I don't know. I want to met something new to can compare. But comparing Buenos Aires to Barcelona, it's very similar.
Yeah, man, you've got to come to Berlin for sure. Like this is totally different to Barcelona. I don't know. I don't know if it's better. I don't know if it's for techno. It's probably well, for techno. It's definitely better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, you also miss like this how you say it, like Latino approach and friendliness and stuff like that sometimes in Berlin. You know Germans, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Right.
I know.
Right. So, yeah, no, just to wrap this up, could you tell me, this is a stupid question I normally asked, but do you have any like funny, raving memories or any funny story that you can tell us, having a gig or something like that?
Yes, yes, yes. I have a lot of them. Uh, oof. One was
Just
like
don't get into trouble.
yeah, yeah, yes. One was like 4 years ago. We were making a party that its name was Blaskik. It was on the south part of Buenos Aires, and it was a very big party for 600 people, and we were raving. I don't know, like 9 a.m. something like that, and the DJ that was playing appears without the t-shirt and with a big dinosaur, like a toy of a dinosaur under his arm, and a cowboy hat, dancing with people. And there were nobody playing, so it was the track running. And in the middle of the party, uh, it starts a big fight, bro. Like a 500 fight, like a war on the on the party, and I tried to stop everything, the parents, and they were like 80 people inside the bathroom fighting. We didn't ever know why the fuck they were fighting, and it was like a big fight, and a guy I tried to stop a guy, and a guy took off a leg, his leg. It was like I don't know how it says
Like an
la,
orthopedic leg.
yeah, like an orthopedic leg, and he hit me. He started to hit me with the orthopedic leg, and that guy was the one who stopped the fight. He put his leg on the air like a gun, like the typical guy that shot to the air, and that guy finished all the word of the party. That was fucking amazing.
What the fuck, bro? was
No,
that
no,
was that some Boca Juniors River Plate shit
yeah,
going on or something like that?
yeah. Argentina is a country that people it's very passionate, with everything, with music, with football. They and we are divided. We have the country divided in two sides. You have black or white, Boca or River, left or right on politics.
Right.
It's everything like left, right. You are of this side, of this side. So um, it's a very passionate country that we can't do something quiet. We
Right.
have to jump, scream, hit. I don't know everything. It's very interesting to live there.
Yeah, man. 100%. I can imagine like you guys have a lot of Italian heritage, a lot of Spanish heritage,
Wow, a lot of Italian made,
a lot of
a
Italian.
lot, and Spanish too. Yeah,
Right.
and mixed with all the Latinian stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. All right, man. Well, that'd be it from my side. Thanks very much for the conversation. Unless you want to talk about something else that we might have left out.
Uh, I'm done, bro. Thanks a lot of you
I
to
think it's
give
been like
me.
2 hours
Uh,
and 20 minutes. That's
wow.
crazy, bro. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It feels like it was like a half an hour.
100%. Like, definitely super fun talking to you, man.
Yes.
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
brother.
Sure.
Thank you,
Uh,
Axel.
yeah, it's good to know more about you, bro. To have a chat with you, to have the opportunity and the space to share this with you, and I hope that when I met Berlin or when you came here, you have the doors of my house open to came here when you wish, and maybe have some beers together.
100%, bro. 100%. We've got to do that. Like, if you come over, if I go over, we're meeting 100%. Hopefully, Adria Vendex will be there,
Yeah.
or Adri Boom
Oh,
might be.
boom. Yeah.
All
Exactly.
right. Shout out to the Unborn Child, man. Shout out Wrong Theory EP on Vector Function Records out now. Make sure you get on the SoundCloud. Go listen to the Unborn Child's latest projects, all this shit. Um, as I said, released on Vector Function Records. Underground Assault, gnarliest podcast in the world. Subscribe to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram. Thanks, bro, for coming in. Good talking to you. See you next time.